Hey everyone, Triceratops Jr. here, back with another speed review. This week I'm going to be talking about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt, which is the new game in the Vampire the Masquerade universe, I guess, which, if you don't know, it's a tabletop RPG that's been turned into a whole heck of a load of video games. And this one is the newest take, which is a battle royale, which is kind of unique in the series, at least, where pretty much all of them are RPG games. This one is something different. But I think it's interesting that they chose to go with the battle royale because it's kind of a contentious area to make a new game in. One, because there's already so many battle royales out there, but two, because it's so hard to make something unique in the battle royale universe. There's been a few games I think have done it really well. Games like Fall Guys are a good example of taking that battle royale idea and making something new out of it. But I think Bloodhunt manages to be unique enough that it's able to stand out on its own and not fall into the trap of being just another PUBG or Fortnite clone, you know? So getting into that uniqueness, I guess, the game has a class system where there's 6 different classes. Each one has different abilities they can use. And also, it's got a progression system where, because you play a vampire in this game, of course, I should have mentioned that, but you're a vampire. You have to feed on people. And certain people have different kinds of, I think it's called resonant blood. And there's 4 different kinds of resonant blood, and each kind gives you a different buff. And you can only get a certain number of buffs within a game. So you have to build your character around which buffs you get. So there's melee improvements, skill cooldown improvements, health regen improvements, stuff like that. You all get that by feeding on these specific individuals. And so that adds a sense of more progression to the game. And the fact is, a lot of battle royales are just about picking up weapons. And don't get me wrong, Bloodhunt is also about picking up weapons, because you do have to pick up weapons and use them. But that nice sense of progression, I think, adds a really cool layer to the game that other battle royales don't have. And then there's, like I mentioned, the powers in the game, which also, isn't necessarily unique, because other battle royales have that, like Apex Legends and stuff also has powers and stuff. But I think it does a good enough job of it doesn't feel like you're playing Apex. This game is nothing like Apex. And it's kind of also got this unique sense of world to it, because lots of battle royales take place in either wide open plains or dispersed areas, pretty much. It'll be open area city, open area city. This game is all just one massive city. It's Prague. And you run around Prague, you can climb buildings, you can jump super far by sliding. It's super fun. And that's one of the things. The game feels really smooth to play, thankfully, because if you were climbing buildings and running around and sliding and it didn't feel smooth, that'd be a real problem. But this game feels super smooth. The combat feels really smooth when you're shooting at something and you aim down the sights while in the air. Your game enters slow mode, which is just I think it's explained in the lore as vampire powers, but you enter a slow mode and you can easily aim it, and you can take down an entire enemy and just slowly moving through the air and aiming a little better. It's super interesting. The game is also really easy to learn. The moment you load in, it puts you through a little tutorial which teaches you literally everything you need to know, and then you can get into it. But some of the ideas and mechanics are pretty hard to master. So the idea of the resonant blood, and you have to memorize what all those different blood types do. I can't even remember the names and what they do off the top of my head. I remember them by color. There's pink, orange, purplish, blue, and then lighter blue. But they I lost my train of thought there. It's the game's hard to master, so it takes some time to get into it. But I've put about 30 hours into the game now. I did not expect to like this game as much as I do. When I went into it, I did it for a one-off stream, and I played it, and I was like, dang, this is actually really fun. And so I just kept playing it, and I have not stopped. So that's I think a lot of the good about the game. It's unique. It's got a really smooth gameplay style. It's fun. I think that's also really important. Oh, I should also mention it's free to play, which can also be a big plus for people. So free to play game, everyone. So no excuse not to check it out. But there are some drawbacks, and I always like to say oh, there's some things that aren't so good about the game. And these are things that could be fixed in the future. But at the time of me recording this, these are the big problems I have. The first and biggest issue is the long queue times. So sometimes, depends on time of day, it'll take you up to 5 minutes to find a match. Like, I've had times where I will queue up and I'll just sit there and it takes forever to do anything. But that, combined with the fact that load times are also always super slow, is not a good combo. Like, you'll load into a match and it will be another 3 or 4 minutes before the match actually starts, because you have a bunch of menus to go through, and then you finally have to wait, and then finally you'll load in. And I think they really need to make that load in time more snappy and smooth. I think, like I was saying, Apex actually does a great job of this. The load in time never feels super long. It's like you go in, you pick your characters, and you're off. You know, this game is just super slow to load in. And the same problem is at the end of the match too. When you die or when you finish a match, it puts you through a bunch more menus that you have to go through, and it's super slow to get out of the match so you can queue up for another one. So I think that's something that's super important for battle royales to have, is the ability to like quickly get in and out of matches, because they want you to keep playing the game, you know. So that should be something that like needs to be looked at and fixed in the future. The other problem I've seen is it only hits sometimes, but I've had some weird lag spikes. Like, certain times the game will just lag, and I don't know what does it. Other times it runs super smooth, no lag at all, but sometimes I just get hit with lag spikes. I think it's probably a server side thing, honestly, but maybe once those servers get improved, the lag spikes will go away. But it's only ever like maybe once a day or something I'll just suddenly get hit with a patch of lag. But other than that, I think it's a really solid start to a game. It is still like only a few weeks old at this point, so it has a lot of room to grow and expand and change, and I hope it does. But right now, in its current state, I think it's a really fun game to play when you can load into a match in a smooth amount of time. But anyway, I was gonna do some quick updates here, so like, feel free to hop out now if you don't care, but just some quick updates for me for right now. So I just started back up school again, senior year of college, baby, woot woot. And so I mean, with school back on, I'm gonna be having less time to make videos and stuff, so I'll try to keep making stuff. I want to keep making edited videos. I know these videos are super easy for me because I can just talk into my microphone and do minimal editing, but I want to keep doing some other stuff. I do have some scripts in the work right now, which is good. I just got to find the time to work through that stuff. So just know that I'm still working on things, but it's going to slow down quite a bit because I'm in school and I have a lot of other like things I have to do. I will still be streaming on occasion as well over at twitch.tv/Triceratops_Junior, so you can check me out there as well. But yeah, that was my big update I wanted to get out. I'll probably also tweet about that just so people know on the Twitter sphere. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you should. But yeah, okay, y'all. Peace out. I'll catch you on the flip side. Pew, pew.